Hello and welcome to Blockchain Gaming World with me, Jon Jordan. So this video is posing a question. I'm not sure I totally have the answer to it, but I definitely want to kind of do some background to this question. And that question is Binance a bad influence on blockchain gaming? So why do I ask that question? So let's take a step back. What is Binance? So Binance, this is the webpage for Binance. Binance is the biggest centralized exchange for crypto, probably the best known, probably the biggest brand, I suppose, in crypto, other than kind of Bitcoin and the tokens themselves. Let's have a look at some figures around Binance. So if we look at Gecko, not quite sure how accurate the figures are. I imagine they're pretty accurate. If we're looking at exchanges, crypto exchanges, and we're ranking them, Binance is number one, trust score of 10. And what do we have here? So 24-hour normalized volume. We have, goodness me, can't do that. $4.3 billion of volume. That's the same here. Visits, we've got 23 million visits, 254 tokens, crypto coins listed on the on that exchange, and 871 pairs. We can actually go and look at Binance's. There's some figures from Binance as well we can have a look at. So this is obviously old now. This is their year in review for 2019, but we can see here. So here they were trading $2.9 billion average. So we can see it's gone up from 2.9 at the end of 2019 to 4.3 in a year. They're saying over 15 million users, and yeah, same sort of thing here. So you know, it's clear that Binance is massive. We have millions of users, and generally, just because of the cycle of crypto over the last few years, and certainly, I guess in 2020, I would think the majority of these users have probably made money from crypto, and obviously, Binance really had very strong growth in 2017. Where it was pretty easy to make money in crypto. So basically what we have with Binance is we have a massive kind of giant of crypto, the biggest centralized exchange with millions, tens of millions of active traders. You join up to Binance to trade these tokens for $4.3 billion worth of value traded every day in these tokens. And what are these people doing? You know, are these people in it for altruistic reasons? No, they're not. Although some of them might be very altruistic, but they're basically in this to make money. So this is the kind of ground zero for crypto traders. This is what these people are doing. They're risking value to make value. Nothing wrong with that. But I think it's interesting when we start to connect this sort of speculative activity with blockchain gaming, particularly blockchain gaming as it currently is, which is pretty small. So let's just have a recap and see how Binance has really in the last few months started to get quite active in the gaming space. So I think there's two major gaming projects that have Binance had a lot of influence over. There have been other ones been involved, so there was kind of minor sort of stuff. So in battle races, there were some Binance NFTs, kind of sponsored NFTs, and kind of things like that. We have seen that in the past, but over the last kind of couple of months, which is kind of where this question in my mind has arisen, it's basically Axie Infinity is the first product. So Axie Infinity, much loved blockchain game, very innovative, got a lot of growth this year. But we kind of saw, so this is only from not even a month ago, is the Axie Infinity launched their token. The Axie Infinity Shard was launched on the Binance Launchpad. So a hard cap of $3 million, and the Binance Launchpad is basically a way of Binance encouraging its users not to go into DeFi on Ethereum and use all these other kind of dApps coming up, but to stick with Binance and keep your token value on Binance, because Binance is going to give you these opportunities. So you couldn't buy the when this token launched, you couldn't buy it anywhere else but apart from on Binance. You had to buy it with the Binance coin, the BNB coin, so that's kind of keeping people attached, retained in that coin's value, and so they sold 270 million of these Axie Infinity tokens. Obviously, since it went live, it's now gone on to Uniswap and been more generally available. But this is how it launched. So pretty strong kind of connection between Binance and Axie Infinity. Even though Axie Infinity is a fairly small kind of project, really, at the moment, like all blockchain games, it's one of the bigger blockchain games, but it's still pretty small. But we can see here, there's been actually we're going to go and have a look at what's gone on with the tokens actually, and we can see where they're trading. The other interesting news that happened fairly recently was Axie Infinity for 2020 has had this other token called the Small Love Potion. But while the AXS token is a kind of general governance token, really, also a payment system, the Small Love Potion is what we call a utility token. So it doesn't really have any value other than the thing it's designed to do, which is you win this if you win battles in Axie Infinity, and you use it to breed Axies. So if you have two Axies, you can breed them together to make another Axie, but you need this. You basically use up this Small Love Potion in the process. So it's kind of like a currency for breeding. So very specific, very odd that Binance is listing this Small Love Potion, because Binance lists stuff because it thinks the value is going to go up, spectacularly. Binance doesn't list stuff because the token price is going to go up like 10% or 100%. Binance wants to list things that go up 1,000%. So that's a very odd scenario where we have these kind of mad capitalist crypto traders, and we're throwing Small Love Potion at them, which is a small market cap utility token. That's a warning sign for me. But let's go and have a quick look at how the Axie Infinity shards tokens, how they've gone since Binance launched them. Again, using CoinGecko, here's the Axie Infinity token. It's only been out, where are we? Not even just over a week, I suppose. A bit over a week, 10 days. So we can see here, it actually launched, I'm pretty sure it launched it on the Binance launchpad at 10 cents. So we can see it's up, already up kind of 3.5 times since it launched. So, in the sense, something Binance is very good at is creating value. You've launched a token which kind of has no value, but because it's on Binance, it has value, and you've set the value, and people are crazy to buy it. So it's always oversubscribed. And then as soon as it comes off Binance and becomes available more widely, then the price, price is almost going up 50% on the day. Kind of goes away a little bit, but then you can see this kind of going up, and we can see here, where it's trading. Well, obviously it's trading number one on Binance because that's where it launched. So we've got $3.2 million worth of volume there. And if we look at these are all, I don't even know what these exchanges are, but these are all centralized exchanges where it's also trading. And on Uniswap, which is the first decentralized exchange, it's only got not even 500,000. So that's a sixth of the volume. So we can see, if you can see why Axie Infinity launched their token on Binance, because it just gives you this massive kind of push, big momentum, and these people aren't going to be playing Axie Infinity, I shouldn't think, the majority of them, but this is just something that they're trading on Binance. On Uniswap, kind of the place on Ethereum where you trade tokens, where I don't know, potentially you would think the Axie kind of audience is kind of sitting. They're not sitting there. They're not going through KYC, giving their passport details to get into Binance. They're here on Uniswap. Obviously people providing liquidity to help that kind of trade, doing all those kind of nice Ethereum type things. Trading there is pretty good. $500,000. You wouldn't say that's bad. But the majority of the activity, and probably where the price is being set, is pretty much on Binance. So that's good or bad for a token. It's good for Axie Infinity to have launched well, but obviously these people are not going to be playing the game. And in blockchain games, you always have, no matter what it is, you always have players and you always have speculators, and finding the balance is the important thing. I guess my fear starts to become that the more Binance gets involved in these games, the more we're tilting the balance towards speculators who don't really care about the game other than the fact of the price. We can also see so let's find our Small Love Potion that we just mentioned. So this has just been listed by Binance. So let's have a look here. So we can see here, this is what the price was. So we were about 2.6 cents US cents per Small Love Potion. and then it got listed on Binance, and it's gone down a bit, but immediately you have a 100% increase. And even if you take that out of account, we've gone from 2.7 cents up to kind of 4 cents. I mean, actually, if you go back longer, there's been much bigger spikes around that. So actually, Binance hasn't impacted that very much. But there we go. So I don't think that's a bad thing for Axie Infinity. Tokens, you do have to think about how you want to get them liquid, and if you get Binance on board, obviously that gives you the biggest kind of lift off. But with everything there are for the strength it gives you, I think it does make you open to what happens when the price goes down and everyone's dumping it, because you have a lot of liquidity on a platform which is, I think, quite separate from the community, in the community actually around the game. Of course, the other major blockchain game that Binance has been involved with is the Sandbox, and this is the day after the Sandbox had a difficult launch of or another pre-sale for its land. So it's been slowly over the last year selling off progressively larger portions of its land. So it's still got 2/3 of the total land left, but I did a sale yesterday, and that was heavily involved with Binance, and basically that was very problematic from a technical point of view because they couldn't keep up with demand. So this kind of then goes to show something a bit a bit more complex about these. It's not just Binance, but I think Binance is a prime example. I can't really think any other exchanges would have be quite so aggressively looking at getting game tokens in there, and two would have quite the same kind of speculative kind of audience. And so we can kind of see there's been a few things going on here. So last time round, so this is September, Binance purchased land NFTs in the Sandbox. So Binance actually itself bought a bunch of land NFTs in the Sandbox. So 4,000, it's going to be using those as part of its marketing. And then this is what happened yesterday. Is kind of a byproduct of the fact that Binance has this land. Binance is trying to attract its users into the Sandbox. It's incentivizing people who buy land tokens, buy land that is located near its land, because all land is on a grid system, and there's kind of ideas of valuation depending on where your land is situated, kind of near to. Actually, Sandbox, even before Axie Infinity, had done a very similar thing. So it launched its Sand token through the Binance Launchpad. It had a very similar sort of situation where it launched very well. Obviously, it was oversubscribed. Lots of people on Binance are like, oh, a new token that I can like just if I want to just flip it, I can like probably double my money. So that was kind of part of what was going on there. But this NFT thing, it becomes much more problematic, because at least with tokens you can have a lot of tokens for sale, and if there's a lot of demand for tokens, you can kind of gate that. So the Binance Launchpad has a lottery system anyway. So no matter how oversubscribed it is, it's a very controlled system for working out who wins these tokens. When you do a land pre-sale, that's much harder to do. Because obviously Binance is a centralized server and they can handle that on a centralized way. The land token sale for the Sandbox was just running on Ethereum, so you have the limitations of the Ethereum blockchain, and obviously you're still going through a centralized server to kind of gate that. But there are some bigger limitations on that, and basically you've attracted an enormous number of speculators to your NFT sale. You're only selling a few thousand NFTs. And you can't really change it. With a token. If there's more demand, the price goes up as soon as they're kind of liquid on the market. With these kind of things, the price is fixed, and I think they had 5 times more demand than they could deal with. And the problem was some people got in and could buy the land, and the majority of people couldn't get in and couldn't buy the land. So some lucky people got in there early and bought up a lot of the land before the sale got killed. There were lots of other issues about they didn't have enough server capacity. It was totally oversubscribed, and in a sense that's a better problem to have than no one coming to your land sale. But it seems like a lot of people are now pretty annoyed with the Sandbox. It's not really their fault. It's very hard to judge demand on these sort of things, and obviously they've run a whole bunch of these. They've run like dozens. We're probably getting on for a dozen of these NFT land sales now, and never come through this problem before. It's interesting now. The problem is all the other ones have been successful. People are buying this as a speculative asset, the land, and on top of that, so you're building up momentum anyway, and then you invite Binance users in, and that's what kind of crashes the system. And I do kind of just think the metaphor is not is maybe a bit over emphasized, but when they say when you sup with the devil, use a long spoon, or whatever the exact phrase is, I don't know, but basically, coming from a very decentralized kind of background myself, something like Binance, okay, the devil is probably playing it a little bit over the top, but Binance is not an environment which I am naturally comfortable in. I'm much more I much more like decentralized things, but it's not so much that. It's just you're bringing it's the devil side of it is much more the audience. So people on Binance, I don't think care about projects. Some of them do. Some of them may do their research. Some of them might just invest in crypto that they think that they believe in the project. But to me, that is not the mentality of most people who are trading on centralized exchanges. Most people who are trading on centralized exchanges are basically purely looking to flip token value and looking for Binance to bring them opportunities to make money on. I don't think they really care in the long term about the projects. They care about if they make money off them, and I think that is very different to what we see certainly on the Ethereum blockchain, even in the DeFi space where a lot of money's been made and money's been lost now. But there is a community around that, and lots of quite deep thinking about how you engage community, how you install governance. And Axie Infinity has thought about that a lot. Sandbox is probably not quite so far down that road, and has. It's a different sort of project, I suppose, but I kind of think this might be a wake-up call for people to think carefully about how you build long-term value and how you build community, because community can be lost very quickly, and it's not the Sandbox's fault. I don't think that directly that this problem has happened and there's been all this backlash. And I kind of think the backlash is probably from people who just want to flip the land token. So I don't really necessarily care so much about those people's views, because they're just in there. They're not in there to play the game when it comes out and make things in the sandbox. They're just there to hope the price goes up again so I can sell out these NFTs. So that was just a bit of a ramble, but I think there is something deep in there, particularly when you have, say, Binance has 15 million users and blockchain games have 15,000 users, not even that, most of them. There is the order of scale, the order of value that these people have, the order of financial speculative velocity that they can put into your project can blow up your project. And we have seen in the past that if you don't get your economy totally balanced, then people can your whole project can be ruined. And obviously we don't want to see that for these projects that have been working for a number of years to build slowly a community, build out a vision of what they're doing, get people's buy-in, prove that they are building out these things in a way that is very community focused. And that's what we want from blockchain games. We want them to be thinking about governance and the community and play-led economies and that sort of different mentality we have. And Binance to me seems very much like a different a beast from a different era, and with very different dynamics in what they think is a good result for them. So a bit of a warning sign there. I don't think it's a bad thing for the industry. I think we're going to go through a lot more of these scenarios. I think even now with the Bitcoin price bombing up, with all token prices following, that is generally a bad environment for good products to be built in a holistic way. So I think this is something I probably will return to. Just kind of something that kind of struck me. If you've got any comments, okay, I could be totally wrong, but if you've got any useful comments, interesting comments, do you think Binance is good? Is a good influence? The liquidity it provides is good for the games market? Put them in the comments box. Let's have a debate. But thanks for watching this video, and hope to see you again.